The current Yonko, the Gorosei, the Holy Knights, the Admirals, Cross Guild, the Revolutionary Army, Old Legends, and much more. One Piece is about to change forever, with the current top 10 strongest being very interesting, as we recently had the fall of Garp, the defeat of Kaido and Big Mom, who I'm considering as dead for this video, and Luffy not just fighting an Admiral, but a Gorosei as well, perhaps soon to be multiple, which is insane to think about. Apart from all of that, it's important to know that One Piece is a very narrative focused series, with this resulting in who can be perceived as stronger than another, particularly when you take the main antagonist remaining in the series, who will face Luffy and the crew, or what key events will occur first in the story, resulting in a way to determine placements in the ranking based on this, as Luffy and the crew are progressively getting stronger, progressively facing stronger and stronger opponents, especially now as we're pretty much around the top of the verse when it comes to Luffy and the crew. With the main antagonists to mention being Blackbeard, Sakazuki, and Emu, all having their own valid arguments for why they could be the final antagonist for Luffy, even though of course it's going to be Buggy. They also have reasons to face others. For example, Sakazuki vs Sabo is something a lot of people have been predicting, perhaps even Sakazuki vs Dragon, as they also seem to have some past together with various theories associated. Anything can really happen, so I'll be considering the most likely outcome, or the one I believe is the most agreed on in the fandom, alongside my personal opinion, with the ranking involving the power they wield as an individual, not considering assistance from others like a crew or some insane weapon not really part of their innate abilities. Something clear right now is that the old generation is beginning to fall, being way past their primes, with the Gorosei being clearly relative to the Admirals, arguably weaker or perhaps even stronger due to, for example, poison and some type of regeneration or immortality, but something is clear is they cannot deal with a Yonko alone. Silver's Rayleigh doesn't believe he can defeat Blackbeard, Sengoku is pretty much fully retired, but I do think he'll do something in the future of the story. Kong, the world government commander-in-chief, still hasn't done anything to really gauge his power, and a few other legends who haven't made their move in the story for what we've seen. So at number 10 I have Kuzan, who is in short a monster and has a lot of things going for him moving forward. Sengoku actually wanted him to become the next fleet admiral, meaning he had the potential to take that position, fighting Sakazuki for 10 whole days before being defeated, which to this day is still insane to think about, and I cannot wait to see that fight fully shown on screen. He then joined the Blackbeard Pirates and pretty much carried them during the fight against Garp, where it was also revealed that Garp trained him in the past. Considering the outcome of the clash and the theory that Kuzan is perhaps still part of the Navy or even the Revolutionary Army somewhat, will perhaps lead into him rising in the ranks in the future, and I definitely believe he's cooking something, so worthy in the current top 10, that's for sure. Garp is 9th and demonstrated that regardless of the outcome and him not being in his prime, he is still a monster that cannot be taken down in a fair or simple 1v1. For now, it looks like he's going to be used as a bargaining chip by Blackbeard. He's not dead, that's for sure. However, considering his current position, he's likely to fall out of the top 10 in the near future. But for now, based on what chapter and what we've seen, Garp is still up here, so pure respect to him. With it being important to note that various placements are interchangeable, as a lot of these guys in the top 10 are relative to one another. They can't really be defeated in an easy 1-on-1 for an example. In rank 8, the final old generation fighter I have on this list, apart from one potentially, is Saint Figureland Garling, as the current leader of the God's Knight, who has the authority to kill other celestial dragons, playing a key role in the God Valley incident, who is theorized as the one to face and damage Whitebeard with these various scars, and currently is the leader of this group, which Dragon believes will result in the real battle to start when they move, meaning it's likely that he's above the Gorosei in overall power and is the muscle of pretty much the celestial dragons, and regardless of being an old generation fighter, considering his recent reveal and likely appearance in the future as a main fighter, he will be a monster that someone is going to need to overcome, and it's not going to be easy. Sakazuki comes in 7th as the current fleet admiral, who really hasn't done much since he defeated Kuzan, but the narrative moving forward is definitely in his favour. He's the one who killed Ace. He's showing multiple signs of being over the world government, or at least listening to them, which will perhaps result in a big change in the future of the story under the Red Dog's control. Even back during Marineford, he did probably the best out of the admirals by a significant margin, being the current strongest marine, that's for sure, and also seems to be wanked by Oda himself as the claim that he could pretty much become the Pirate King or end all One Piece in like 1 year, which is insane to think about. For 6, I have Monkey D. Dragon. So while being memed on recently for his lack of really doing anything major on screen, the, mooing king, he still has way too many things going for him to not include him in a top 10 strongest currently. The father of Luffy, the most wanted man, the one directly against the world government, someone who's been slowly changing the world, preparing in the shadows for over 20 years of One Piece. He's bound to reveal his capabilities very soon in the manga, and when we get it, the respect Dragon carries with his name will properly be established in the fandom, I guarantee it. Perhaps even a arguably higher placement for him when we get to see it, but for now he can't go any higher. Luffy is in the top 5 strongest now, and I think it's pretty much confirmed. His performance against an admiral and a Gorosei member highlights the pinnacle which still represents the Yonko in One Piece. As the sun god Nika and our protagonist who will change One Piece forever, he will remain in the top 10 and continue to rise as the story continues, and he's demonstrating right now that he's worthy of his new top tier status. Emu is still mostly mysterious and unknown to say how strong they are with absolute confidence. However, as the one who the Gorosei serve, with the connection to Joy Boy, as the ruler of the world from the shadows, Emu has too many huge implications. It does have the capability to fight, as shown in the whole Sabo situation, highlighted with these arrows, and considering its transformation with reference to Saturn's full reveal, it's likely Emu is a monster of such a caliber we're yet to see in the One Piece world, and when it does reveal this, it's potentially the strongest we have in the One Piece world as well, but for now we can't really say. Emu does technically have the best feat in One Piece of destroying the entire kingdom, but that was with the use of a weapon rather than its own innate abilities, so that can't be considered. When it comes to the future opponents, Dragon is a possibility of course, alongside Luffy or Nika more so we could say. The degree of Emu's power will most likely depend on what point in the story we have its defeat. Is it pre or post Pirate King Luffy? In 3rd place, we have Blackbeard, a true pirate who is scheming and always making moves to complete his own goals. He's viewed by some as a fraud to a degree. This is due to some questionable performances. However, it's clear that Blackbeard, when required, is beyond capable and definitely deserves his Yonko status, continuing to rise in power, wielding 2 of the most overpowered devil fruits, with various hints about his unique body that were still waiting to be revealed. He's viewed by more people in the fandom than any other as the final antagonist for Luffy, even after Emu by more people, for many reasons. Alongside, before all of this, he was somehow able to give Shanks this scar while he was on guard, something that just speaks volumes for his overall power. Anyone who decides to sleep on Blackbeard is definitely going to take some L's in the future of the story. Just look at what some of his goons recently did to a Gorosei member, absolute disrespect, the world is his at this point. I hope I've made it clear that the Yonko will remain as the strongest characters in the One Piece story. Therefore, Mihawk comes in second. Pretty much a Yonko, come on guys. The strongest swordsman in the world, who had the legendary duels with Shanks before he lost his arm, and overall has remained very unknown power-wise in the series, leaving some to question his top tier status for a point in time. Then we got his bounty revealed, which is pretty much Yonko caliber, changing a lot of people's view back to Hawkeye's hype. He's pretty much the power of the Cross Guild that has Buggy recognized as a Yonko, with some arguing he's stronger than the person I have at number 1. Mihawk recently also got more reveals hinting at a quite depressing past, which connects to probably his character and personality that I'm hoping gets revealed in the future of the story, which will probably connect to Mihawk still being a top dog. The more we learn, the better. But number 1, Red Hair Shanks, who is now the current veteran Yonko in the series, who has never disappointed when in action, stopping Kaido from going Marineford. How? We don't know, but he did it. Stopping Sakazuki and ending the war. One-shotting Kid, walking right into the Gorosei room, which is most likely partly due to his bloodline and heritage. The one with the most insane Haki feats, the ability which clearly dictates who is the true top dogs in the universe. Some believe he will be killed by Blackbeard in the future, but that is most likely going to be due to various schemes rather than a 1v1, which I believe Shanks will be able to defeat anyone else on this list, the strongest in the current One Piece universe. Before you leave, when do you think Dragon will make his move? How will Luffy deal with this current situation? Is a new character going to be introduced in the future of the story that may change up everything in this video? What is your current top 10 strongest? What One Piece video would you want next? And shout out to the members, these absolute mad lads. That's it guys, peace.